Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm continuing my Marvel Legends X-Men Age of Apocalypse series, Marvel Legends Series 2, and today we are going to do Magneto. This is the second half of the dynamic duo I was talking about with Rogue and Magneto. They are married in this universe. Now this version of Magneto, he is the leader of the X-Men because when Legion, who is Charles Xavier's son, tried to kill Magneto to save his dad a lot of grief, went back in time and tried to kill him. Instead, he accidentally killed Charles because at the time, Charles and Magneto were still really good friends. Not that they ever stopped being friends, but they were like not even close to where they got later as enemies. And because of that, Charles stepped in the way and ended up getting killed by Legion instead, which set off this whole chain of events that made a very dark universe where Apocalypse, this big guy right here, was now in charge of everything and basically survival of the fittest, whether it be human or mutant. So Magneto, ended up taking the dream of Professor Xavier and was like, you know what, for my friend, I'm going to continue his dream and make the X-Men. He also met Rogue. Turns out he can touch Rogue because he can create an energy field that protects him, like a magnetic field. And so they got married and had a kid, named him Charles, after his best friend. So here's a side with a nice art of Magneto with Apocalypse staring viciously from above. There's the front with him, and he doesn't come with a Build-A-Piece. This is from the Colossus Build-A-Figure wave, but he does not have one. I guess they figure Magneto's cool enough on his own. He does come with an extra head, a couple extra hands, and a really cool set of purple energy effects for his magnetism. There's the same artwork on the side as was on the previous side. There's a better look at the nice Magneto artwork from the side. And his bio says, Magneto cast off his anti-human sentiments and carries on Xavier's dream of peaceful coexistence, thereby founding the X-Men. And this is all because of his friend sacrificing his life. The Build-A-Figure you can make is Colossus, though he doesn't have a piece. Figures in the wave are Magneto, Rogue, Cyclops, Sabretooth, Kitty Pryde, Iceman, and of course, Mr. Legion himself, the guy who set the whole thing off. So give me a moment. We're going to pause. I did pick this guy up at TC's Rockets, my favorite local comic shop / hobby store / game store here in San Diego, California. They have some of the best stuff here in San Diego when it comes to geeky collectibles. And they are located at 5155 Waring Road here in San Diego, California at area code 92116. And you can also visit their website at https://www.tcsrockets.com if you don't live in the area and you still want to get something cool from them. So let's pause and get him open and see how cool he is. Okay, here's Magneto, the master of magnetism himself, out of his packaging. As you can see, I have switched his head to the helmeted head, because I just think that gives him more intimidation, and I placed on his energy effects on his hands. So let's take a look at what he comes with. So first he comes with these really neat little, let's put him back down and I'll show you one close up. They're both basically identical, but they're these little neat energy swirls that you can wrap around his hands and make it look like he's using his magnetism. And he comes with two of those. He has his helmeted head, which is not too different from the helmeted head on his regular costume in that Marvel universe. And his eyes usually go white when he puts it on, and intimidation factor, usually when he's using his abilities. The only real difference is he has these long braids coming out of the front and a big thing of long hair coming out of the back that he usually doesn't have when he is in the regular Marvel universe. Then there's the unhelmeted version, which is a little more human. You can actually see his eyes and his pupils really well. He's got blue eyes. Same long hairdo. Again, this is standard from the actual Age of Apocalypse comic book itself from 1995. He comes with 2 open hands on him, and then he comes with these 2 closed fist hands, which seems to be the traditional way just to do hands. It's like some type of open hand, some type of closed fist hand. So now if we take a look at his costume, it is actually quite similar to his main universe counterpart's costume. Major differences is actually, I think the main universe one might have this too. Maybe that's why everyone, as I said in the previous video, there's a joke that I have. Everyone in the Age of Apocalypse either has rivets on their, like a riveted collar or face paint. Because extreme, 90s. But I do believe the regular Magneto has that too. Maybe that's why everyone's wearing them, is because it's kind of an homage to him and his style. In addition to that, though, now he has these purple shoulder pads. He does not have the purple trunks from the costume they had in the 90s. Although I think they removed that later on in the main universe too, so it doesn't really matter. Everything else is pretty much almost identical to his main universe counterpart, including the red cape. This I am a little upset by. It's a much stiffer cape than I thought it was going to be. It's made of a quote-unquote soft plastic, but it's not that soft. And that's it for aesthetics. It's very basic, a red jumpsuit with like purple gloves, purple boots, and a purple belt. Standard Magneto. Now, whereas Rogue had a place to clip in a cape and she didn't have a cape, he has a cape but no place to... Oh, he does. He actually has a little hole to clip in the cape. You can, see? But they didn't give him a peg to do it. So the cape kind of sets a little weird on him, which is unfortunate. It's like, why go through all that trouble if you're not actually going to make it where the cape would stay in the correct place? But still, that's not really a huge complaint. He's still pretty good. His head can't really turn 360 just because of the hair bits. Like the front bits get out of the way fine, but then the back bit is like very stiff and doesn't. So he can kind of do like side to side, but no real 360. He can look up actually surprisingly decently. I mean, not that great, but he can kind of do it. The hair, again, is kind of in the way. And then he can look down pretty decently for articulation. For his arms, he can raise his arms up, but he can't really go full 360. So you're just going, well, he can, but you have to kind of T-pose it and then go 360. So it does go 360. He can do a T-pose, which is great because Magneto needs to do a lot of that. He does have a upper bicep swivel that works great, as you can see. He has double jointed elbows. Let's see if I can get this first joint to... Oh, no, they're both moving. Cool. He does have double jointed elbows, but he still doesn't get 90 degrees, which is kind of weird. But as you can see, both parts move. It's just the muscle gets in the way with the glove padding. Yeah, the muscle just kind of gets in the way with the glove padding, and he can't quite do a 90 degree. He does have these cuffs. They don't really move. But then his hand does have free rotation. And then he can move his hand down a bit. And then up a bit. So that's there. He has an ab crunch. He can move forward that far, which kind of unnatural. He can move back. He can't really move back that far just because of the cape. But if he didn't have the cape, he could go all the way back. He does have a waist swivel, 360 at the waist. The belt kind of gets in the way, but it's not that big a deal. It kind of it moves with it. The belt can be pushed up a little bit too if you want more leg movement. His leg can go forward that far. It can go back, not very far unless you kind of rotate it out, and then it can go kind of out and back. Not the greatest. Again, he has upper thigh rotation, which is good. Now we'll take a look at the knees. He has double jointed knees, which actually both do pretty well. Gets a nice bend in the knee. Um, then he does have a upper boot swivel. Upper boot swivel right there. He can move his foot back that far, forward that far, which is actually quite a bit of motion. And then he has the ankle pivot, which is actually really good and standard. Like, they've always been good about putting recently, like, ankle pivots in since, like, 2015, and they're really well done in that. And so that's his full articulation. So, again, a very good figure. I'd say it's better than the Rogue, simply because it just looks more like him and functions more like him. Biggest gripe, cape doesn't have a little peg, so you can peg his cape in on the back so it actually stays where it's supposed to. The head, this one, instead of being up a little too far, it's down a little too far, so it makes it kind of hard to turn or twist his head. And also, the dimensions don't make sense. His helmet must be like the TARDIS, because it's bigger on the inside. Because as you can see, unhelmeted head is bigger than the helmeted head. Kind of weird. But I get it. It's really hard to include all those details on like an unmasked head if they went for the same size as the head would be underneath that helmet. In fact, the helmeted head is kind of small for the body. But it's not a big deal. It's still really good. I was rating this on a scale from 1 to 10. I'd give this an 8. So 5.5 more than Rogue. Still not the greatest, but still a really good figure. I do think they were right on making him be the figure that doesn't come with the Build-A-Figure part if they had to do one, because most people will want Magneto regardless. So I think that was a smart decision on their part. And overall, I think it's a great figure. As someone who's a huge fan of the Age of Apocalypse, I am more than stoked to have this famous couple. It was one of the cool, weird twists that they put in there, because a long time ago in like a 90s or an 80s comic, Magneto and Rogue got stuck in the Savage Land and they kind of fell for each other for a bit. So they just took that to the next reasonable level with Magneto being a good guy, so she stayed like in love with him, and it made sense. So I thought that was kind of cool. And just this version of Magneto is really cool. I've always liked Magneto regardless, but it's good to see him be more of a much more genuine good guy, especially in a world that's as dark as the Age of Apocalypse. So it's like, I'm happy for it. Anyways, like I said, I picked this guy up at TC's Rockets at 5155 Waring Road, San Diego, California, 92116. I'll leave the address in the description along with the website, https://www.tcsrockets.com. It'll be in the description. You can check them out. Please like my video, comment on my video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next vid. I think we are going to take a brief break from Wave 2 to introduce and review a figure that was a pseudo Age of Apocalypse wave figure, but came before the Age of Apocalypse. During the first X-Men wave, they released a figure, first or second X-Men wave, not sure. They released a figure of Blink, but it was very much Age of Apocalypse Blink. So we're going to review her and then jump back into Wave 2 of the Age of Apocalypse series, and then followed by Wave 1. Weird order, but just keep an eye out. More Age of Apocalypse Marvel Legends coming your way. Thank you for listening. Again, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and have a great day.